This is episode number 59. Take control over your mind. Welcome everybody to another episode here in Body and Mind Transformation by Custom Body Fitness. This is your health coach, Sandro Torres, and today we're going to be talking about how can you take control over your mind. I use 5 strategies when I change my life to become a better person. I use these strategies to actually take control of my mind, not only to take control of my mind, but also to take control of my life in general. So, excuse me. So, I do want to share this with you. I want you to take control over your mind and take control over your life. Remember, if you want to be successful in anything, the first thing you need to do is take control over your mind, because your mind is going to take you to that success that you are looking for. Anyway, without any more introduction, let's listen to the talk. At CBF, we know that for you to change your body, you need to change your mind. Exercise and eating healthy is only part of the plan. We care about our members as we care about our family, because our members become our family. It is not about competition, but support. It is not about being the strongest or the fastest, but about you defeating your negative self. It is about working together and making the task challenging and have fun. By the end, what matters is not how hard the session was, but that you take control of your mind so you can take control of your body. My name is Sandro Torres, and I'm happy you are part of our family. Welcome to Custom Body Fitness. For you to be able to succeed in any task, for you to be able to succeed in any area of your life, you need to take control of your mind. Many of us are lazy and don't want to take control over our mind or body, because it takes energy and it takes an effort to be able to do it. But right here, I am going to give you 5 strategies that you're going to use to take over your mind and start controlling your thoughts. I know it's not something easy. This is the reason why I give you these 5 strategies. These strategies really work for me. And believe me, I used to be a mental lazy person back in the past. So before I begin disclosure these strategies, what I'm gonna do, I am gonna tell you that I started gardening a couple years ago. And I live in a place where we get a lot of snow in the winter, so we got a short period of time in the summer to do that. So I'm not an expert, but I hear and I learn a lot about weeds, bugs, and animals that come and destroy your garden, which is true. And those thoughts that you have in your head is something similar. There is weeds on your garden. There's going to be weeds every time, and you have to come and remove those weeds, because they're going to take the nutrients from your plant, or they're going to kill your plants. They're going to cover the sun, and they're going to take all the energy. They're going to start killing your plants. So it's something that you have to go every weekend and start removing those weeds out of your garden. And it's funny because weeds are crazy. They're not only growing your garden, they even grow in the concrete, they grow in the asphalt, they grow everywhere. So the same with your thoughts. Your negative thoughts are gonna come out naturally. So you have to learn how to take care of those. So let me begin by telling you the first strategy. The first one is have a clear conscience. A long time ago, I used to be a completely different person, and I grew up, and the reason why I used to be a completely different person, you have to get in my shoes for 1 second. I grew up in a very dysfunctional family. My mother was the only one raising me since I was a child, and she was an alcoholic. Nobody taught me morals. Nobody taught me values. Nobody taught me responsibility. So since a kid, I started hanging out with the wrong person. So I learned how to steal. I learned how to lie. I learned how to take advantage of other people. I cheat. I did many negative things in life. Then one day I fall into depression, and then I suffer. When I suffer, something inside of me told me that I was in the wrong path. And then I started reading. And in the book that I was reading, it said that one of the things they recommend for people like me to heal and start from the beginning in your mind, it's to redeem yourself. And to redeem yourself, you have to do two things. One is start fixing the things that you can fix from the past, and start forgiving people. So one of the things I start doing, I made a list of the the people that I hurt. I made a list of the people that I owe money, and I made a list of the things the things that I steal from people. All the people that I could call and ask for forgiveness, I did call them and ask for forgiveness. Every single person, I told them that I'm so sorry for the mistake I made, and I'm really regretful about it. And if there is anything I can do for them, I would love to do it. And all the people forgive me. The other thing I did, all the people that I owe money, I start sending money and I start paying that money. And there is people that I couldn't contact, that I didn't have their phone number, that I just don't know where they live, etc. So that money that I felt that I owe, I give it to a charity, or I give it to other people who needs that money. Another thing I did, I started returning the things that I stole and giving back to whatever store, or give again money to other charities, so on. I can't explain the feeling of relief that I got after I finished with my list, but it was so relief, and a weight off my shoulders came off. And one of the things that I noticed is that all those negative thoughts that I have about everything wrong I did in the past, they were gone. I start having control of my mind by doing that. So that's the first thing. It's very important that if you make a lot of mistakes, I know it's difficult to accept our mistakes. For example, I'm going to tell you something recently that happened. There's this real estate broker who helped me acquire a couple of apartments. Thanks to her, I got 2 apartments. And the deal is that she signed up a contract with the owner, with the past owner. And the past owner had a couple of mental problems. We closed the first apartment, and as you probably know, real estate brokers make their money by the commissions from the owner. And then I signed up the contract for the second apartment to close the second apartment a year after I closed the first one. So the guy started having a couple mental issues, and then she didn't want to do business anymore with this broker. So she said that he said that he will sell me the apartment, but this person needs to be out of the equation, otherwise she won't sell me the apartment. Anyway, he died, and the nephew got the place, and the nephew said that he really wanted to sell me the place, but he wanted to fulfill the uncle's wishes and take this real estate broker out of the question. And I wanted to acquire the place, so I say, if that's your wish, I'm gonna talk to her and get it out of the question. So we talk, and she reminded me, she said, I did my best to get those apartments. I know that X person wants to get me out of the equation, which is fine, but I think you owe me something. And I said, I'm sorry, but that's the decision of the owner, and there's absolutely nothing I can do. So she was out of the question. We closed the deal, and then a couple months passed. Has been like 2 years since I closed the last deal that we had. So a couple months ago, I was thinking about how blessed I am for everything I have, including those apartments. And then I think about this real estate broker, and I say, thanks to her, I got these 2 apartments. thanks to her, I have some financial freedom. She helped me to find these things when they were in a low price and so on. I think I owe her an apology. And not only I owe her an apology, I do owe her a commission. I realized that I was making a mistake. So I called her and I told her, and I apologized for that. So you're going to make mistakes. You're a human being. We all going to make mistakes. Just make sure when you make a mistake, call the person, ask for forgiveness. Do what you need to do to fix your mistake. So it's okay. Just embrace it. Face the mistake. You're going to make mistakes. I know this clearly and I still make mistakes. So it's okay to make mistakes. Just fix them. The next strategy is forgiveness. It's something that is difficult to do for many people, but it's something that is very powerful. And it's difficult for many people, especially those that they are deeply hurt. And the reason why is because there are a lot of pain and they want revenge. I've been in your shoes. I've been in places where I want a revenge, but it's very important that you learn how to forgive. And the reason why, because it's going to give you a lot of power to control your mind. You're not doing the other person a favor. You're doing a favor to yourself. I learned how to forgive because I learned that humans we are selfish and we don't take into consideration the other person when we make decisions. Now, not everybody's like that, but most people are like that. For example, I was unconsciously, back in the past, I used to make unconscious decision. I told you, I used to do all those things. I didn't care who I hurt. And that's the reason why I understand people, because now I understand when people are blind, when people are living unconsciously, they're making decisions without thinking about the consequences of their decision, what is going to happen to the other person, to the whole society, to the environment, and so on. So yes, I'm not saying that this is something that people should be doing, but that's the reality. That's what happened. We are humans. And if you are capable of hurting somebody else it's going to be capable of hurting you. So keep that in mind. When you keep that in mind, you start empathizing. And that's the reason when we start empathizing, there is many of us as well, that now when we think about and make decisions, we think about how we're going to affect the other person. So if you start forgiving people, find a way. This talk is not about forgiveness. This talk is about the 5 strategies for you to take over your mind. So I'm not going to be talking specifically about how can you forgive a person. I can give you a couple points. But I recommend you learn how to forgive people. I learned because I told you I was an unconscious person living a life hurting people, and I know there is a lot more unconscious people living a life hurting other people. So when I understand that, when I empathize, I forgive. And I do my best to wake up people so they start doing the right thing. When you start forgiving people, all the negative emotions of revenge, anger, and even when you with yourself, when you start forgiving yourself, all those negative emotions of anger, of hurting yourself, of hurting other people, they're gone. And when you do that, you start getting all those negative thoughts of your head. And when you get those negative thoughts, you start controlling your mind. So that's the second strategy. The third strategy is make your mind strong. And how you going to do that? Very simple. Mother Teresa said that God is in silence. If you want to make your mind strong, what you want to do is give yourself time alone where you can meditate. It's very important that you give yourself time alone so you can meditate. And the reason is because once you meditate, you can find out what's in your head. If there is any negative thought, you can capture it, you can turn it around, and you can start thinking positive. or you can start analyzing it and thinking, what are you thinking that? So that's one thing. Another thing is when you are in silence, when you are alone, it's amazing how you start getting a lot of good ideas, and all the stress that you have from your life, from your day, for whatever thing that start coming up. And that's one of the things that, for example, when your conscience is it's in peace, when you have done everything to fix your past, those things don't come up anymore because you already fixed it. So the things that come up are usually good things, the things that you're doing, and good, the things that you're doing good. If you're doing good things, you're gonna feel more confident. So if you want to have a strong mind, start meditating. For the reasons, I'm gonna summarize it real quick again. For the reasons is, when you start meditating, you start finding out negative thoughts. You can remove those negative thoughts and change it for positive thoughts. If you start getting worried about things in life, you start wondering why you start getting worried about those things, and then you notice there is nothing to be worried about, and you start taking control of that. And the last thing is, good things that you're doing pop up in your head, and you feel confident. So it's very important that you meditate to make your mind strong. And now the fourth one is, know your needs and desires. Once again, this talk is not about teaching you every human need for you to strive in life. It's for you to learn this strategy. So it's very important that you learn all your needs, all your desires, something that you need to be happy. Now there is needs and there is things that you don't need. And this is a great example. Acceptance. Acceptance is a need for a human being to strive and to be healthy and to be happy. We are social beings and we need to be accepted. But we make a mistake. We don't know who we want to be accepted by, and we want to be accepted by the wrong thing. We buy nice cars because we're going to be accepted. We spend a lot of money on hair because we're going to be accepted. We spend a lot of money in brand clothes and things like that because we want to be accepted. We do things that don't really give you acceptance. It's a superficial acceptance. We go party, we drink, we do crazy things because we want to be accepted. So when you find out that you really want to be accepted, that that's a need, now you understand that you want to be accepted. But instead of doing the wrong things to be accepted, you're going to start doing the right things. For example, start serving people, start helping people, start solving their problems, start caring about them, start serving the world, start making this place a better place, and you're going to see how you're going to be accepted. And then you don't need to do all these crazy things and start spending a lot of money and things that don't matter, because now you are fulfilling your human need of acceptance. Like I said, there is more human needs. Once you find all of them and you start taking the right path into being accepted, now you start controlling your mind because you know what are those human beings, and you're taking the right course into that desire or need. And lastly, the last strategy is keep your mind in guard. What do you think is gonna happen if you start hearing about viruses they kill, about all these people that are already dead, about wars, about assaults, about a lot of negative things? You start watching all these scary news, and you start hanging out with alcoholic, and they talk about gossip, and they talk about the neighbor, and they talk about how horrible the day was, how they hate their life, how do they hate their job, how do they hate their partner. If you start listening to all that, what do you think is going to happen to your brain? You think you're going to come out with a great, magnificent idea? Of course not. If you really want to good things come out of your head, you need to find out, you need to know what are you learning. So start consciously and actively start reading books that help you become a better person. Start watching and listening to this type of talks so you become a better person. Start hanging out with successful people who have a good relationship with themselves, with God, and with the world. They're gonna teach you a lot, and they're gonna feed you positive things. So make sure you have your mind in guard, and make sure, when I mean have it in guard, don't start watching and looking and listening to all this trash that is not going to help you better. It's help you to become a better person. Remember, your body, your thoughts, and everything, it takes 7 years to regenerate. Your body is always constructing itself. It's every second it's coming with new stuff. But it takes 7 years for you to become a new person. So if you put trash in your body, if you eat junk food, you're going to become junk food. If you have negative thoughts, if you put a lot of negative thoughts in your head, you're going to become a negative person. But if you do the opposite, then you're going to become the right person. And this is how you are going to take over your mind and control your mind. Put these strategies into practice and you see how your life changes. Now, this is not an overnight thing. This is going to take time. So be patient and wait, and you'll see how your life is going to change. Okay, everybody, this is the end of the conversation. So let's do a quick summary. There are 5 strategies that I use to control my mind. The first one is make sure you redeem yourself and fix your past. So all the mistakes you made, whatever you can fix it. That's the first thing. You want to pay money back. You want to return things. You want to ask for forgiveness. The second thing is forgive. This is also forgetting yourself, because there is many mistakes that you can't fix anymore. You need to forgive yourself, and you need to forgive others that are gonna hurt you. That's the best thing you can do to get any negative feelings, emotions, and thoughts out of your head, and you can take control of your mind. The third one is meditate. When you meditate, you make your mind stronger, because you find out what's in your head, and you can change your program in your head by meditating. For that, you need time alone. The fourth one, know your human needs and desires. That's okay. We all need those things. That's what they call human needs. But make sure when you know your human needs, make sure you know how to acquire those human needs and don't get confused. And the last thing is have your mind on guard. Feed it good things. Don't feed it junk. Get rid of the junk and start actively putting positive things into your head. So that's the summary right there, everybody. Hopefully you like this episode. I think it's one of my favorites. I learned a lot from these strategies. Like I said, it changed my life, not only my mind, but my life in general. So I hope you put this into practice, and also this strategy do the same for you. Please share this talk with people who needs to listen to this, and share it with people that you don't like as well if you don't like this talk. And remember my message to stay mentally and physically healthy, and we'll be tuning in the next episode. And thank you so much for following us.